All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Great to be with you this morning. I'm Tyler Springs, and this is Typhoon Streams. We are doing our first real pro football talk this morning, and it's because the Tennessee Titans had a rough Week 1 debut against the New York Giants. We certainly do not want that for Week 2, but they go this time to visit a New York team in the form of the Buffalo Bills. And let me tell you, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I got to be honest. Based on what I've seen in Week 1 out of the Titans and the Bills, this is going to be a wash, and the Bills are going to win it. They're the better team. But what you don't need to do is despair if the Titans lose, because the Bills are an incredible team, and I think they're probably going to be in the AFC Championship game once again this year if folks stay healthy. So what you can't do if you're a Titans fan is panic after Week 2. Don't do that. There's still plenty of opportunities for Titans wins along the way. But when you go back to that Week 1 game against the Giants, oh boy, what a debacle. It's not as though everybody played poorly. I wouldn't say that at all. I would say the defense played, I think, really well, except for a few instances where their tackling got a little bit loose. Offensively, Ryan Tannehill is kind of an enigma. He is, watching the Titans tape and then watching the Bills tape, it seems like Ryan Tannehill is Josh Allen with one of the batteries taken out of the battery pack. You know what I mean? Like he will dirt some balls that Josh Allen might not, and he still has the opportunity and the ability to fit balls into a mailbox when he wants to. So it's kind of frustrating, the Ryan Tannehill experience to watch. I think it is certainly an opportunity for Derrick Henry and the backfield to get going against the Bills, because in Week 1, Henry got used in some spots. Didn't look terrific. I didn't think the blocking was terrific. The Giants, with a pretty good defensive front, a lot of times stacked up the line of scrimmage against Henry. I like what they were able to do with Dontrell Hilliard out of the backfield. And listen, you're not going to get a screen every single play. That's just not the way offense works. You can't do that all the time. Screens are meant to be, and backfield routes are meant to be, more changes of pace than they are necessarily the norm, the standard. But I really liked what I saw out of Dontrell Hilliard. I think he's going to get great usage against Buffalo. And if you're one of those people that picked him up on fantasy waivers for like a flex stash, maybe in a really deep league, I think he'll get some touches. So I don't know that he'll get the touchdown count that he got against the New York Giants, but I do think Dontrell Hilliard is going to be a big piece of the Titans' game plan in this game against the Bills if they are to have success. What's going to be tough is, based on what you saw from the Titans in Week 1, that offensive line facing this Bills front is going to have a hard time. Look, I think Taylor Lewan is better than he showed in Week 1. I think he's better than what Joe Noteboom showed against Von Miller in Week 1 when it was Rams and Bills, and Noteboom kind of got run over a couple of times. But to be honest with you, anybody on that Buffalo defensive line, whether it's whether it's Von Miller or Greg Rousseau or Boogie Basham, Jordan Phillips, any of those guys, look, they can wreak havoc. They really can, which is not to say anything bad of Jeffrey Weaver or Jeffrey Simmons or Rashad Weaver. But I do think that Buffalo front is going to give Tennessee some problems. So especially passing the football, Tannehill's not going to have a lot of time. If you think he didn't have a lot of time against the Giants, I think he'll have even less. And that may lead to more passes thrown away. That may lead to more passes thrown at the feet of receivers. But I think Tannehill has shown, especially in games that are close, that he's still willing to put the ball into a very, very small window, and he can do it. Sometimes, it looks like it's going to be intercepted, but it is, I think, more often than not, fit into a tight window when it needs to be. He's not as strong-armed as Josh Allen is, so he can't do it with the snap of a finger necessarily the way Josh Allen can. But he can still, if he wants to get into a very tight window against man coverage, he can do it. So there will be an opportunity there. I think Kyle Phillips, maybe the surprise of Week 1 for that Titans receiving core, is going to be reliable again. I think he'll get punted to a couple of times. I assume the Titans defense is good enough to stop Josh Allen at least a handful of times based on what they did against the Giants, because, boy, they were turnover hungry. I mean, they did a great job of knowing who they are, which is they will probably turn the ball over a couple of times, and their offense may not move it very well. So they've got to make some plays. And I thought they did a great job in Week 1. There's certainly an opportunity for the Titans defense on Monday Night Football to stand up to Josh Allen and certainly give him a harder game than what the Bills saw against the Rams. But that was kind of my take on what the Titans look like against the Giants from Week 1. You didn't really expect the Titans to have 2 first downs rushing the football, right? That's it. They got helped out by some penalties. They had 13 passing first downs, I think. They weren't very good on third down. Really, neither team was. The good thing about facing this Buffalo team is that even though you gave up, I think, over 200 yards rushing against Saquon Barkley and the Giants, you're not necessarily going to see that from the Bills this week. They like to mix it up a little bit with Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Josh Allen. It's not to say that running the football won't be easy for the Buffalo Bills. I think they are going to be capable runners. I don't think this is going to be a game where they're held necessarily to under 100 yards rushing. I think that they are going to find some lanes, and whether they use the quarterback run game or they actually hand it off, they're going to have some opportunities there. But you got to be a little bit cleaner, I think, this week if you're the Titans, both sides of the ball being penalized, and you got to do a good job trying to start the game and give yourself a lead, right? See if you can get the first kickoff, go down and score, and then go from there. But you're not going to do well if you fall behind, because you're going to have to run the football with a level of consistency that allows Tannehill and the offensive line to take a break and not have defensive pressure from the Bills' defensive front in their face all the time. So, there are a couple of times in that Week 1 game where I certainly get people's frustration. The Titans, despite playing, I would say subpar for them, they had a chance to win that game. They could have won it 3 times, right? They could have converted on Chico Okonkwo with the end around. They didn't. I know people probably don't like that. They thought that's too cute, but it is. It's a decision I understand. At least I'll say that if Taylor Lewan makes that block on the outside, I think Okonkwo probably gets the first down. But they also could have won the game on a last-second field goal. They didn't get that done, and I feel like there were 2 or 3 times in this game where they could have won. Stopping that 2-point conversion, they could have won it, and that's just better tackling, right? Is all you need in that case. So I think what the defense showed you for the Titans in Week 1. It's enough to stay competitive with the Buffalo Bills. It's not probably enough to defeat them, but I think the Titans are going to play a better game than what you saw from them in Week 1. I think the key is you've got to be able to run the football consistently, because if Tannehill is dropping back a ton, he's going to be pressured, and there's going to be a number of incompletions. So I think, honestly, the Titans are going to lose on Monday Night Football against the Bills. I think that's not curtains on their season, nor should Titans fans act like it, because if you go to New York and you lose, you start 0-2, right? After that, you've got Raiders, Colts, Commanders, Colts, Texans, right? You could win all 5 of those games conceivably. You might even go into the Chiefs week on the road at Arrowhead with a 5-2 record, right? Now, that's not for sure, right? You've got to see improvement, especially the Raiders are improved. I think the Colts are improved. But those are winnable games, and more importantly, they're divisional games, right? Colts, and Texans. So you've got to be on your P's and Q's for those games. I think Mike Vrabel's side has shown that depending on what they are Week 1, that's not what they are going to be for the rest of the year, right? Remember Week 1 last year? Oh my God, they got smoked by the Cardinals, right? But that's not necessarily indicative of what you'll see from the Tennessee Titans after this Week 2 game against the Buffalo Bills. So Titans fans, my overall takeaway, don't panic, okay? Week 2 is going to be a loss against the Buffalo Bills, but it's not going to be curtains on the entire season. Keep your guys healthy. Maybe, see if you can play Dontrell Hilliard in a flex spot if you really need a running back. I don't know why at this point in the season you would in a deep fantasy league, but that'd be the person to watch. Kyle Phillips should be a pretty reliable target as well. And we'll see what the rest of the offense can give Tannehill. But it'd be a great opportunity for the Titans to at least show improvement, progress, and that they can be prepared to face a Raiders team in Week 3 and potentially get their first win of the season. I'm Typhoon Springs. Look forward to talking more football with you, whether it's pro or college, and I hope that you'll join us as we go forward. Please like, subscribe, share this video with others if you enjoy it, or if you hate it, tweet at me at Typhoon Springs on Twitter, or you can email me at typhoonstreams@gmail.com. Looking forward to talking some more Titans football and NFL football with you as we go forward.